Hello everyone and welcome to this video on the Python programming language. So in this video I will attempt to show you how much you can make on BlockFi using Python by investing consistently every month. Now this video isn't sponsored by BlockFi and the material in this video isn't investment advice as I am no advisor, so please do your own research before making any kind of investment. Now I want to go to the BlockFi website, which I have here. More specifically, I'm on the rates page just so I could talk a little bit about BlockFi. Now, BlockFi is a startup cryptocurrency financial institution based in New York City that lends USD against cryptocurrency collateral, and they accept deposits of cryptocurrencies and pay interest on those deposits. The annual percentage yield, or APY, is as high as 9.3% compounded monthly, and you can see that highlighted here on the page. Now, this interest rate is much higher than a typical savings account, which is currently at about 0.04% to 0.07% nationwide. And the APY that you get from a BlockFi interest account depends on the type of cryptocurrency that you hold within their accounts. Okay, so as you can see here, to get the 9.3% interest rate, you must hold USDT. You must have that deposited in their interest accounts. Now, this may sound really good, right? Because you're getting a higher interest rate for depositing your money here as opposed to a bank, but this does come with some possible risks. So the annual percentage yield for BlockFi could change at any time, and it has changed before. Also, BlockFi, or rather its custodian Gemini, is not insured by the FDIC or SIPC. So again, there is some risk. All right, so with all of that being said, let's go ahead and go back to Google's website, which is called colab.research.google.com, and this is where I will be programming this code. All right, so to get started making this program, go ahead and click on File, and then click on New Notebook, where a new tab open up for you, and then eventually a new cell open up for you. And I'm going to put in a description for this program. So I'm just going to type, this program shows how much you can make on BlockFi by consistently investing. All right. So the idea here is to invest the same amount every month into this BlockFi interest account. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new cell by clicking this code button in the top left. And now I want to import the libraries that I plan on using throughout the program. So I'm going to import math. I'm going to import numpy as np. I'm going to import pandas as pd. And I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. And then I'm going to give the plot a style. So I'm going to type plt.style.use, and I'm going to use the 538 style. All right, and then I'm going to run this cell by clicking this button here to the top left, and this will let me know if I made any mistakes. All right, so I did. So let's see here. You have matplotlib, and I have a L there. Let's run this again. Okay, so now everything looks good. Let's go ahead and create a new cell by clicking that code button in the top left. And for this program to work, some assumptions are going to be made. So the first assumption is that you invest in a stablecoin like USDC, which is a cryptocurrency that attempts to offer price stability. So basically it means that one coin is equal to or approximately equal to $1. So that way your investment isn't fluctuating. It's just staying stable the whole time. And if we go back to the BlockFi website here, we can see the stablecoin called USDC here, and we can see that it gives us an APY of 8.6%. All right, so let's go back here. All right, now the second assumption is that the annual percentage yield won't change over the years that you are invested. So again, BlockFi does and has changed its annual percentage yields. So this may or may not happen where they can either increase the APY or decrease the APY. All right, but we're going to make these two assumptions: that we're investing in a stablecoin called USDC and that the APY won't change over the years that we are depositing money into this account. Okay, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started programming the logic for the code. But before we do, we need a few variables. So let's go ahead and create a variable for your monthly deposits. All right, so I'm just going to call this monthly underscore saving. I'm going to set it equal to 200, and this is a representation of $200 USD. All right, next I'm going to create a variable to store the interest rate. So rate will be equal to 0.086, which is the 8.6% APY that BlockFi allows for us holding USDC. Then I'm going to create a variable to store the time, or the number of time periods elapsed. So I'm just going to call this time. I'm going to set it equal to 1 divided by 12. Next, I'm going to create a variable to store the number of times the interest is applied per time period. All right, so I'm going to call this num underscore compounded, and I'm going to set this equal to 12. And then I'm going to create a variable to store the number of months that I plan on being invested. So let's call this num underscore months underscore saving. Let's set this equal to 240. And that's because 12 months times 20 years equals 240. So we're going to be investing for 20 years, or 240 months. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. Let's create a new cell. And now I want to create a function to mimic the compound formula that will be used in our strategy. So let's call this compound underscore interest. It's going to take in some parameters. It's going to take in P for principal, R for rate, T for time, and N for the number of times interest is applied per time period. All right. Okay, so next let's go ahead and create the formula. So the formula is A equals P times 1 plus R divided by N to the power of T times N, and A stands for amount. All right, so now let's write this in code. So I'm going to create my variable called A, and I'm going to set it equal to our principal P times, and now I need to use the power function here. All right, so times 1 plus R divided by N, all of that to the power of T times N. Okay, and then I want to return A. So let's go ahead and run this. All right, let's create a new cell. And now let's create a function for the strategy. So again, the idea here is to just deposit $200 every single month into this BlockFi interest account. So let's call this function investment underscore strategy. Okay. And now let's create empty lists to store the values. So it's going to store the amount accrued, or the amount that we have deposited. So let's create two lists. One will be called compound underscore list. I'm going to set this equal to an empty list. And then the other list will be called monthly underscore deposit underscore list. And I'm going to set this equal to an empty list as well. Okay. Now I'm going to add the initial deposit, or the first month savings. to the list. All right, so that's easy enough. All I have to do is just type compound underscore list dot append, and I'm going to append the $200, right? But we have a variable for that. It's called monthly underscore saving, and I'm going to do the same thing for the monthly underscore deposit underscore list. All right. Okay, so hopefully I haven't misspelled anything. All right, so now I plan to loop through the number of months minus 1. So let me just put that here. Loop through the number of months minus 1. So for I in range 1 to the number of months that I'm invested, so that's num underscore months underscore saving, I'm going to do some stuff here. All right, so first let me explain why I'm only looping through the number of months that we're saving minus 1. So the reason is because that first month is not being is not compounded, right? So it's our initial deposit. It's just that value for the first month. All the rest are going to have some interest attached to them, at least when it comes to this compound list, not when it comes to this monthly deposit list. So the monthly deposit list is just going to hold, it's just going to hold those $200 values every single month. All right, just so we know how much we have deposited into this account. Okay, so let's continue. Let's create a variable called amount, and let's set it equal to our compound interest function. And then we need to give it the principal, which will be compound underscore list at position I minus 1. So it's going to be the previous month's value. And then we need to give it a rate and a time, and then num underscore compounded. All right. And now I'm going to append to my compound underscore list. So compound list dot append. I'm going to append the amount plus the monthly saving, right? Because I'm going to be putting in $200 for this current month. All right. Okay. Next, I'm going to append to the monthly underscore deposit list. And actually, I see that I misspelled that here as well. Monthly. There we go. All right. So this monthly underscore deposit list dot append, I'm going to append just the monthly saving. Okay. And now I'm going to return the two lists. So I'm going to return compound underscore list and monthly underscore deposit list. And it looks like I have two of these still. Let me just make sure that we're good. So monthly underscore deposit list, monthly underscore deposit list, monthly underscore deposit list, and here it is right here, monthly underscore deposit list. So let me just highlight this one more time. Okay, so I think that's good. I apologize for misspellings. Let's go ahead and run this, and let's create a new cell. Now I want to get and store the compound list. So I'm going to create a variable called compound underscore list, and I'm going to set it equal to our strategy, our investment underscore strategy at position 0. And then I want to see the compound underscore list. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. All right, and there we go. So we can see how much we would have each month in this account after depositing $200 every month and getting an APY of 8.6%. All right, compounded monthly, of course. So we can see for that first month, we only had $200 in this account. For the second month, we'll have $401.43 in the account. The next month we'll have $604.31 in the account, so on and so forth. So that looks really good. Let me just exit this. Let's create a new cell. And now in this cell, I want to show the total return on my investment. All right, so let's just create a variable called total underscore return and set it equal to compound underscore list at position num months saving -1. And then I want to show the total underscore return. So let's just run this. All right, so if I did this for for 20 years, 240 months. So if I did this strategy for 240 months or 20 years, I would have a total of $126,987 and about 28 cents in my account. And of course, that's making the assumptions that the APY didn't change and that the stable coin is still at a ratio of 1 to a dollar. You know, $1 equals 1 coin. And I think that looks good. So now I'm curious, how much did I actually put into the account? So let's go ahead and calculate that. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get the list of monthly deposits. Monthly deposits. Okay, so I'm going to call this monthly underscore deposit underscore list, and I'm going to set this equal to investment strategy at position 1. Okay, and then I want to get the total deposit amount. So I'm going to create a variable called total underscore deposit, and I'm going to set this equal to the length of the list monthly underscore deposit underscore list times the monthly saving. Okay, and then I want to show how much I deposited. And there's another way I could have did this as well, but this just comes to mind pretty quickly. So we have total deposit here. Let's go ahead and run this. All right, so now I can see that I deposited $48,000. So that's a good return on my investment, right? I put in 48,000, I get back $126,987. Pretty good. All right, now just for fun, let's graph this. All right, so let's visually show the amounts or the lists, or maybe I put the investments. Okay, so just type plt.plot, and I'm going to plot the compound list. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a label. The label will be comp, and then I'm going to plot the monthly deposit list, and I'm going to give it a label. Its label will be cash. All right, I'm going to give this plot a title. So I'm just going to call it amount gained over time. And let's give the y-axis a label. So I'm just going to put USD price. And let's give the x-axis a label. So plt.x label. I'm just going to put months here. And then let's give this a legend. And let's put the legend in the upper left location. All right, and then let's show the plot, plt.show. All right, so let's run this. Okay, so now we can see our investments here into the BlockFi account. It gives this nice curve. While of course, if we were to do nothing with that cash and just maybe just put it under a pillow somewhere, each month would have been the same, obviously, right? This is over each month. But of course, your total investment would have went up to 48,000. All right. So that's the end of the video. if you decide to start investing with BlockFi, then be sure to grab an extra $10 worth of Bitcoin by using the BlockFi link below with an initial deposit of $100 or more. I will also leave a link to Webull where you can get up to 2 free stocks valued up to $850 when you also deposit $100 or more. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.